Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about something that some of us truly enjoyed over the past few years. Now if you're like me, and you haven't been brainwashed by these monstrosities that are known as AAA game developers, you may have actually played one of these. This is, of course, the Wii U. This is the black 32GB edition. Before this they had a white 8GB edition, but that didn't last for very long. They completely replaced it with these. I understand why the 8GB edition, 8GB is nothing. You can't really install but one game on that if you have to install them. Now, you don't have to install games, which is the one thing that I would say this puts it above the rest of this current generation so far. You don't have to worry about game installations, which, once again, those of you who have been brainwashed don't know anything about that. Moving on, this controller, once again, for those of us who've actually played on this controller, actually understand it and realize this is a wonderful controller. Now, I'm not going to put it up there saying that it's perfect. There are things that I don't like about this, as with any controller. I do not like the battery life. The battery life, as you can see, it's charging right now. I just got done filming a video on Captain Toad, and every time I go to play this thing, the controller's dead. So the battery life on it is terrible. But the controller itself is wonderful to use. Now, some people say, oh, what's the point of having a tablet controller? Well, you actually find yourself using this a bit more than you think you might. Once again, going back to Captain Toad, when I was filming the video, my camera was here, and the screen is there. So I kind of had to do one of these, just to get a good angle on it. But you can actually see the whole game on the screen. So I was just playing it off the controller. Made it a lot easier that way. I find that happens a lot, even when you don't really want to. I play it on this screen because it's big, but at the same time I find myself with most games that have the option, because some of them don't. I end up just looking down here because I can, it's really close. I can see the fine detail. It's a good screen. It's not like 4K like my screen up there is, but it looks amazing for its size, and the fact that it's a touchscreen enables so many more features than if it wasn't. Now, the only thing that I'd say this controller is not great for is playing fighting games, and that's more of my own fault, because a lot of times with fighting games, I get really into it, and the people who they steer with the controller even if it's not motion or anything. I find myself, I get a little tense with the controller and I feel like I'm going to snap it in half sometimes. That was mostly when I tried to play the Wii U version of Tekken Tag, and not so much with like Smash Brothers or Pokken, mostly just with Tekken. Moving on from there, some people will say that the Wii U didn't have a great lineup of games. Now, it is true. The Wii U lineup of games is rather small. I believe it's somewhere under 200 in total. It's not a lot of games on the Wii U. However, the ones that are on the Wii U typically are pretty good. Now, once again, people will say, well, yeah, it's because it's mostly first-party games. But I think, what is the problem with first-party games? Game consoles, that's how they started. Atari made their own games. The Odyssey had its own games. Mattel made games for the Intellivision. Coleco made games for the ColecoVision. Everybody started with first-party titles, and I honestly feel like that's a good thing, because otherwise you wouldn't see stuff like Mario and other franchises they have. Now, most of the games I am going to show here are, yes, Mario games. Some of my favorites being, of course, Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8. I think this is honestly the best Mario Kart they've ever done. The one on the 3DS becomes like a close second, but this one is absolutely amazing. I always liked how they put the Mario games in red boxes too. And if you had Super Luigi U in the physical form, it was in a green box. They kind of played with it because typically they're in blue boxes. Now here's the Captain Toad. This game, it disappears. This game here is very original. People sometimes will say that it's the same games every console, just an updated graphics. They have done some original concepts on the Wii U. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is very original. It's a very good puzzle platforming game, and I would love to see more of these. Now, one of my favorite games on the Wii U is Super Mario Maker. When they announced this, I was so excited to play this. Didn't get it immediately when it came out. I saw some videos on it, got even more excited to play it, and then I got it. I think they all came in the collector's style container. As far as I know, I think the only way not to get it is if you got it used or something like that. You could spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in this just making levels. You could spend hundreds of hours playing the random levels it gives you. You can spend, an eternity playing user-generated levels. Levels that are almost impossible sometimes. But the fact is that they have to be possible in order for them to actually publish the level. And because of that, there is such a huge variety of what you can play in this. As you can see here, I'm sure most of you know what this game is by now. But you have all the different generations of Mario style to play with it. So it goes on and on from there. You could have that one game and pretty much be set for the rest of your life. If, of course, you're going to get tired of it, but you know what I mean. There's endless content. Now, there's so many other games. Some that I didn't bring over here. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I love Donkey Kong Country. It's my favorite series of all time. I'm glad this system got a copy of that. No, not a copy, but its own version of that game. So far, there has only been re-release Legends of Zelda's so far, which it's different because usually every console almost started with a Legend of Zelda. Not all of them, but most of them had a here's your Legend of Zelda, let's play it on the new system. For example, the Wii and the GameCube shared Twilight Princess. I know the NES, the first Zelda game ever came out in '86, and the NES came out in '85. So at the beginning of the life cycle, there was a Zelda game. Every system so far has had a Zelda game. All the handhelds, except for the Virtual Boy, of course, but that wasn't around long enough for anything to happen. Now, the only one that we can hopefully see for this that isn't a re-release is, Breath of the Wild, and that has been rumored that it's not even going to come out on the Wii U. I personally am going to be having that on the Switch. I might end up with both copies just because of what happened with the GameCube version of Twilight Princess being outrageous compared to the Wii version, and I might just do it just for the collector's aspect of it, if it happens. Now, there are some third-party games that are on the Wii U. There are some that are not the best, such as the Sonic games. Some of them really didn't hold up very well, namely Sonic Boom. Honestly, it's not as bad now as when it came out, but it's still not the best Sonic game ever. Sonic Lost World was kind of fun. It was a Mario Galaxy ripoff, but if you can get past that, it was pretty fun. Now, my favorite third-party game on this console is Tank Tank Tank. Now, this game, if you can find it, it is a little more expensive now. I believe it's still, if you can get it, it's about $20-30. I found mine at a GameStop. Once in a while, they pop up. They're not very common. It's not super rare either, but it's one of those games that will probably kind of rare because the production quantity, I guess, was small. And for the game it is, I wasn't expecting to really be sucked into it. Here you can see some of the description of what goes on there. You're a tank, and you go around fighting these giant creatures. As you can see here, there's like a dragon, and there's other ones. There's giant gorillas, giant scorpions, just, giant everything. And it actually is very entertaining. You can change your tanks out. There's like a big list of tanks you can unlock. You can upgrade their weapons. They have each 3 different weapons, your standard one, and you collect power-ups, and you can shoot the upgraded weapons. It's a very fun game. And the Wii U overall is a great system. There's plenty of indie games on it. There's a ton of downloadable eShop games. One of the ones I have is AVGN Adventures. Now, I know that's on everything, but I ended up having it on here. And I plan on getting the second one on here too, just because I want to keep it consistent. Other third-party games I got for this over other consoles, I got Mighty Number 9 on here. It's okay, as we all know. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. It's okay. I got Ducktales Remastered on here, which once again, that was on everything. And other than that, I'm kind of sad that they're already killing it off. They announced some sort of recall, I guess, trying to take back all the ones out of the stores so they can't even sell any more of them. I think that's kind of a bad move on their part. But for those of us who already have it, that just makes it that much more special. So let me know some of your memories with the Wii U. And if you haven't got one, they're going to get cheap right before they get expensive. And I'm going to tell you that because I see them becoming one of those highly collectible Nintendo consoles. You know, people don't understand it now, but they will down the road. And there's going to be a brief window of time when the Switch comes out and GameStop, as much as I don't like them, they're going to try to dump all their extra Wii U stuff, and it'll be cheap for a little while. So for those of you who haven't got one, start looking out for some deals because it's about to get very, very affordable and very appealing. I think this system, even though it's not on level with the PS4 and the Xbox One, I still think it looks amazing. And you're not going to regret owning one of these systems. So that's my thoughts on this. Like I said, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you next time.